Hello, welcome to another video on the Scouring Early Access. Today's video is going to be 1 versus 1 ranked match on the classic boss mode, of course. And this replay cast was sent by Mr. Hangman himself, and he's going to be fighting against Orkyporky. And over here, Hangman spawns as humans. He goes for barracks with a single worker and a sawmill. So I guess he maybe wants to make some archers. Although in this classic plus mode, humans don't need a sawmill to actually have the archer production. But of course, getting that extra wood is going to help you out to get more archers out. Across the map, the white player, Orkyporky, he's also playing humans, but he did a 2-worker barracks into a single farm. And instead of scouting, he is going to be maybe fighting these wolves. But in the meantime, Hangman does send out his beginning scout. Which of course I also forgot to mention that each of the players gets a single warrior or swordsman they can use to scout in this classic boss mode, which I guess is a little nice, but it kind of makes scouting somewhat free. It's not much of an investment like it was before. Nonetheless, the Hangman is chopping quite a lot of wood, probably thinking of making a lot of buildings, but for now he's just making a lot of swordsmen. In the meantime, Orkyporky, I guess, invested a lot of his gold into a fast hero, which he can, of course, use to fight neutrals, which is going to allow you to level him up. But, of course, heroes were nerfed in this classic boss mode, or basically the updated, reforged, ranked mode. But before, they were very powerful. You'd be able to level up very quickly. And so, after a single big fight against the enemy, they'll pretty much determine who's going to be winning in a later part of the game. But at this point, heroes are like a nice support unit. And of course, also another big change from the old reforged version is that humans now only need 2 workers per farm, which of course allows them to send most of their workers to actually get resources, which is quite interesting. But of course, I do have to build a few more farms, which is going to be, I guess, wood heavy compared to an orc player who now has 4 slots of workers per farm. So pretty much humans have 200 food on a single farm, but an orc farm has roughly 300 or 400 food, somewhere around there. But of course, orcs have to put more workers in there, so it's a interesting asymmetrical balance, you could say. But also, I did play this mode a little bit, and I guess the main difference between orcs and humans is that swordsmen cost 100 gold and they are worth 10 supply. But if you're playing orcs, the warriors only cost 80 gold, so 20 gold less. But on top of that, they cost 2 less supply, so 8 supply instead of 10. Which basically does incentivize orcs to go into a more, warrior heavy build. Because pretty much for every 4 warriors that a human has, an orc player can get an extra warrior, pretty much, or 5 warriors for the same gold. But they're gonna get a whole lot more supply that they can use. But of course, to be able to asymmetrical, or to balance it out, the humans, they have a small advantage to their archers, you could say. And pretty much, like I mentioned before, we don't actually need a sawmill to start making archers out of a barracks, which is quite an advantage. You can just make archers right away. But of course, we still need a smithy to get to tier 2 before getting the archer damage on a sawmill. So if you want to upgrade your archers, you're still going to be forced to make a sawmill. But I guess it's still a little interesting difference. But also, of course, the orc archers, they, I believe they cost 80 gold and 40 wood, just like normal classic. And orcs require a sawmill to even make archers. But the humans, they cost 70 gold and 30 wood, so pretty much 20 less resources, similar to 20 less gold for the orc warriors. But this is a little different, is that the stats for warriors and swordsmen are the same, but the stats for humans, they have 2 extra damage with their archers compared to the orc archers, the goblin archers. And so pretty much human archers are going to be way better overall. And of course they do have 2 less supply. So instead of 8 supply, like an orc goblin archer, humans have 6 supply per archer, I believe. So this does incentivize humans to make a whole lot more archers. And orcs to make a whole lot more warriors. I guess that is most of the differences that I have found out. Most of the other stuff is pretty much very similar to normal classic, like cavaliers, munchers, and apprentices and warlocks. Pretty much the same from what I have observed. But the cannons, they do cost double the amount, or 200 more gold. So instead of 260 gold and 90 wood, now they cost 460 gold per cannon. So it's going to be a huge investment. But I guess they do deal maybe double more damage or 50% more damage, so they're quite more powerful. But it is slightly different from the reforged mode. Is that what do you call it? The orc cannon shot automatically before in the reforged, but it was more like a little mortar shot. But now they actually just shoot directly on the ground, which is a little different. But the human cannons are still the same. You have to siege them to make them shoot. And of course, they have artillery ability, but the orcs do not have an artillery ability. That's pretty much most of the differences. But anyways, here you can see Orkyporky made a second base. So we made 2 barracks, a smithy. It's gonna be a few cannons, I guess. Making a sawmill, and even making a 3rd base. In the meantime, Hangman is already taking the middle here, the outposts. He's going to be thinking of making a 3rd base as well. He has 2 barracks, and also a smithy. So it's pretty much very similar infrastructure that both players have, but I think Hangman had his 2nd barracks for a bit longer, so he does have somewhat of a bigger army. You can see visually, it looks a little thicker. But I guess also another change is that archers no longer get XP by shooting normally, so they're kind of way weaker now. They have to actually do damage instead of just shooting at enemy and missing and deflecting. That actually gave him XP before, but now it doesn't. So it's kind of hard to balance now, I guess I would say. This archer is going to take a very long time to actually level up compared to swordsman. So I guess Vopli tried to balance it out. And so he made the shield ability, like you can see here. Now it pretty much has a think 30% deflect chance, maybe 40, somewhere around there. So they do die quite faster to archers. Here you can see Bodo nerfed wizards. Hero, you have very small ultimate range on him. Before it was way more, bigger area, you could say. Oh no, here, while white is busy fighting here, blue actually did a very sneaky attack here, sending a few swordsmen. And Orkyporky was a little preoccupied of getting attacked here, so he kind of didn't realize this was happening. And didn't really get to send any reinforcements down here. And so after somewhat losing here, you can see he has a small army. Blue retreats. But he does deny his base, so he has a small economy advantage. But on top of that, he's killing quite a lot of workers here. And denying this stables. So this is gonna take quite a while to actually clean up. And so the white player is now in a quite significant economic disadvantage. You can see blue is a pretty much full base. Its main full base. And this base. There's a good amount of workers. See here. Yes, he was a little busy. You know, now add some nice infrastructure. 2 more barracks, 2 more taverns. Oh, we can even see here, he was non-stop producing. So now he sends his bigger army to try and attack Orkyporky. Why even still, the last swordsman finally dies. And so yes, we can see here that Orkyporky was a little overwhelmed. So he didn't really get the time to get his numbers up. So he's now going to have to fight this huge army of Mr. Hangman here. And so there's pretty much very little he can do to even stay alive at this point. So I guess he tries to retreat to his reinforcements here. Try and hold a better position on the map. Here you can see this little fight here. Even artillery. So the battle begins. But of course we can see the swordsman numbers are quite similar, but blue has quite a lot more archers on his side on top of that. And so in the small skirmish he kind of dominates. Destroys a whole army of Orkyporky here. And now this is pretty much the final stand. They keep on fighting. Even some cavalry reinforcements are here. And even more stuff is running across the map. And here you can see it's pretty much the last of the army of Orkyporky here. Pretty much crumbles. And so now he's going to be just overwhelmed. Yes, this is a final little advance. Even the skeletons are here to be a nuisance from the witch here. Even some cavaliers being made, but we're just a little too late. But now this castle is going to be falling. So at this point, there's just not much anyone can do after losing their tier 3 town hall. And so Orkyporky does eventually surrender. See the results. And you can see here, Hangman got about 5,000 more gold because he killed quite a lot of workers from the white player. He didn't really get to, I guess, regroup or reconcentrate his production, remaking his workers. So that was quite a devastating little sneaky attack while he was busy during his main fight. And so Hangman managed to just have a great fight, which then gave him a big advantage in his future fights. And he even got to farm quite a lot of skeletons, because of course it did spawn on his side during the nighttime, which was a little, I guess, an disadvantage, but it is what it is. Anyways, if you liked the video, you can leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to see more videos on the Scouring Early Access, then you can subscribe. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.